Well, we issued arrest warrants over the weekend, charging 3 individuals with first-degree murder for the June 29th shooting of Jamel Ray at 24th and Reddick Streets. Those 3 individuals are very young people. Jamar Milton is 17. He's been charged with first-degree murder and use of a firearm. Shantavius Primus Willis, 16-year-old, was charged with first-degree murder and use. And it's my understanding that those 2 are in custody, just recently have been placed in custody. There's a third person, a 12-year-old, who's charged with first-degree murder and use also.
Is that 12-year-old related to one of the other suspects?
Yes, it's a brother.
It's a brother.
Okay. Yeah, the name is Jarrell Milton. Okay, but he is not in custody as of yet. But I know there's a lot of work being done. This is an ongoing investigation. Obviously, there's still other charges that will most likely emanate from this case and possibly other cases that occurred over the last week or so. So we'll see where that develops. A lot of work being done.
Are you able to say why the 12-year-old was not in custody yet? Obviously, you know a name.
Yeah, they haven't found him yet from the standpoint of making an arrest. It looks like the 2 other individuals will appear in court tomorrow in courtroom, I think 25 upstairs here on the 2nd floor at 1 o'clock. And then we'll see with regards to the 12-year-old.
Will you try these guys as adults, and if you do, how important is that to send that message to the community?
Well, the law will dictate if we can maintain these individuals in adult court. Our intentions are to file on them as adults. There's a question with regard to the 12-year-old under the new law whether we can proceed in adult court. So we'll get him in custody, and then we'll make that determination.
Don, to your knowledge, is the 12-year-old one of the youngest that you've seen?
He's the youngest I've seen in connection with being charged with first-degree murder on any case here in Douglas County. Historically, I don't remember anybody. There's been a couple of 13-year-olds that I can recall, but not a 12-year-old.
In how many years?
Oh, it's been a few. So I'm not sure how long it's been, but like I said, I'm not familiar with anybody under. And there's a couple 13-year-olds and maybe a 14-year-old, some 15-year-olds, but never a 12-year-old.
We can hear from police the ages of these kids. Just what runs through your mind as you know you're going to be approaching this case and charging them? I mean, 12 years old. It's a child.
Well, it's incomprehensible. It's unbelievable. You know, when you think of somebody who's 12 years old, going into the 7th grade or 6th grade, and being charged with murder for having a gun and approaching somebody and using that firearm with 2 other people that had firearms also. You know, for all of us, it's difficult to even imagine that that's a possibility. So yeah, the words don't adequately describe you know, when you're saying, well, gee, we're talking about charging somebody who's that young with taking somebody's life in this kind of a situation.
Don, were all 3 shooting? Did all 3 fire?
Well, let's at this point in time, with one party still not in custody, I don't want to go into too many details about the case itself, but I could say that they all had firearms. This was kind of a setup situation where they made a phone call to have this person come to the park so that they could maybe a possible potential drug deal or whatever, and then did what they did.
Can you say is it gang tied? Are there gang ties here that you know of? I mean, we've heard this over and over.
Certainly, I think there's no question in my mind that there are gang ties with the individuals who are charged.